Hi, everyone. Good to be back with you. Hope you're having a wonderful week so far. I wanted to talk about two different books of the Bible with you today, one of which we started a few days ago, a week ago or so, the other of which we're going to be right in the middle of. They're two books of the Bible that I think sometimes we don't even know what to do with. We don't know where they fit or why they're even in the Bible in one case. And so these are often overlooked because we don't know what to do with them. We just kind of skip past them. These are the books of Ecclesiastes and Song of Songs. And I hope we don't skip over them because I think they're beautiful, wonderful books. But they are both the kind of books that are not meant to be dissected or kind of torn apart verse by verse, but to be read as a whole and to be reflected on. So I know we split them up in our daily readings, a few chapters at a time. But if you have the time and could just sit down and read them from start to finish, I think that's how they were meant to be read. The book of Ecclesiastes starts with some famous words. It starts with this teacher, son of David, king in Jerusalem, Solomon, saying these famous words: "Vanity, vanity, utter vanity. Everything is vanity." Or maybe, depending on your translation, mine here is the NIV. It says, "Meaningless, meaningless. Everything is meaningless." Maybe you've heard those words before. There's actually, I think, a better way of hearing these words, a better translation. The Hebrew word behind vanity or meaninglessness is hevel. And a literal translation of hevel is vapor, it's fog or smoke. And it's this idea that so much of life is here one moment and then gone the next. And it's what the teacher here is experiencing in his daily life. And maybe you've experienced this here. The moment that you find something good, it's like fog, it's like mist, it's gone. You try to hold on to your kids when they're little, but you better watch out because those little girls and little boys are going to be growing up before you know it. And so much of the book, this teacher is searching for something. We might call it purpose or meaning or security in life. And he's tried everything, so many things, and none of it seems to work. And when he does find something that works for a time, he realizes that it's hevel. It's not going to last, that everyone and everything at some point is going to die. Death is a major theme in the book. That's what the author keeps returning to because everything is hevel. Nothing seems to truly last. The good things we have are here but for a time. We search and we search and we search that we can't find for the things that we're truly looking for. And when we seem to have found them, they're gone before we know it. And so the book is filled with this teacher searching and finding and looking, but everything is hevel. Everything is mist. But at the end of the book, I think is where everything comes together, and it's an important lesson. Everything is tied up here at the end. Let me just read these words for you if you haven't heard them quite yet. It says, "Now all has been heard, and here is the conclusion of the matter. Fear God and keep his commandments, for this is the duty of all mankind." But in the end, this is truly the way of life. You can try any number of different paths. You can try to find happiness in any number of different ways. You can search for security and meaning, but all of it is found ultimately in God. And that's our calling, to simply fear him, to trust in him, and to walk in his ways. This is the kind of living that truly lasts for an eternity, right? That everything else before us will fade and go away. But when your life and your faith is in God, in Christ, you have something that will carry on forever. Now, it's interesting. One of the other conclusions of the book is not a sense of hopelessness. While much of life is hevel, it's here one day and then gone the next, what the book seems to suggest is that this ought to cause us to live in the moment, right? Your little kids, if you have them, are here today. So enjoy them, right? Enjoy those grandkids. They're going to grow up. So you might as well live in the moment. That doesn't mean we tie ourselves to the moment or find our hope in our present circumstances, but there is a freedom when you fear God and when your security and your purpose and your meaning are tied to him, to simply enjoy the gifts that he's given to you in this present moment without attaching yourself in an unhealthy way. The book of Ecclesiastes is, I think, a supremely important book. It is timeless in that way, transcends time, because we've all experienced what the author, the teacher, has experienced, the seemingly shortness of life, and the fact that nothing good seems to last for very long. We need Ecclesiastes, but we also need the Song of Songs. This is an interesting book as well. It's really kind of a love poem. Again, not meant to be dissected. I think you need to sit down and read it at once. It's troubled some Christians because at times it gets a little racy as the love between these two people, a man and a woman, is described in the book. This kind of romantic love poems was a common form of literature that we've discovered in the ancient world in this time. And so, while it might surprise some of us to read this kind of book in the Bible of all places, we shouldn't be surprised. This is the kind of stories and poems that the Israelites would have been reading and writing at this time. And so, it's worked its way into their scriptures. It's this poem about a man and a woman searching for each other, about their passion and their longing for one another. It's in that way a celebration of human love between a man and a woman. We know that love, in the context of a marriage, is a beautiful, wonderful thing that God has given to us, and it's a celebration of that kind of beautiful marital love and passion between two people. But theologians for centuries now have also recognized it's probably a little bit more than that too. That as the love between these two people is described, it draws us into a remembrance of God's love for us. That just as these two lovers are seeking after each other, filled with passion for one another, God seeks after us. That he has a passion for his people, and that he loves us with an unending love. And that it is that love that God has for us that we get to reflect in our earthly relationships. So I hope you don't skip over these two books. I hope that they bless you, and I hope the same is true of this whole Bible reading plan. God bless the rest of your week as well.